Okay, opening up the June 18th Sewer Commissioners meeting. Elaine Fiore, aye.
Bill Watson, aye.
And Ryan is on his way and should be here shortly, so why don't we just take care of some housekeeping items? We have meeting minutes of 3/5 and 3/19. Let's 3/5 and 3/19. Maybe we hold them off because they look like duplicates.
I got 319, but I don't have.
So just next meeting, just. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll hold off on them. Commitments, we have, this quarter, this is the fourth quarter's final bill, I would imagine. For 300 and, but yeah. Well, final bill for a sewer customer is $305, that's commitment $24.50. And then we have the quarterly bill, $24.46 at $302,219.87. I'll make that as a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is anybody else signed on with us? I don't think so. Okay. Well. We are in the process of getting the taking of the easements recorded. We just need the, found out today, we need the clerk to sign something as well. So once that's done, it's the, oh, he signed it. Did he put it back in the email, do you know? I asked him to. Okay, no,
He's
this,
not yet.
okay. Then I will get this off to, then I guess we've completed that piece.
Yeah.
And legal counsel will be able to just, they'll do the recording. That way they've got all their ducks in a row. So we'll be good with that. So as far as any work on Country Club Way, we're legit and should not be able to be affected with the construction that's going on. So I will do that. Dave, anything else that you can talk about that Brian may already know about? Because I don't want to get into too much with him not here.
Yeah, just aside from the change order stuff.
Yeah.
Some updates on our end. This time of year, we do the evaluation so that it would get their step raise after July 1. So all the evaluations have been done and turned into HR, so they're all set. The registration, Jeannie took care of the registration for crane truck, so we've got that up and running. It's gonna get inspected this week. Then we're gearing up for when they do the tie-in to Indian Pond, put in the new connection to run up to the new leaching fields. We're gonna have to drain back the system and store effluent for at least 8 hours.
Oh,
So we've done some calculations this week and ran through some scenarios. And it looks like we'll be able to handle it fine.
The capacity in the extra tank to hold it.
Yeah, so having that extra tank,
Yeah.
we're just gonna open up the check valves, drain everything back, pump it into the empty SBR.
Cool.
And then all the effluent that goes to our intermediate tank, we'll pump that into the SBR. So we'll be able to bypass everything as far as discharge.
Oh,
the
good.
fire rate out,
Oh,
which is great.
wow,
And we can go longer if need.
and that's during a normal working day.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not a very big chunk of the pie anyways, are they, as far as that line feeding into us, or are they?
Well, it's more when we pump up to the golf course.
Right.
We have to drain that from the golf course all the way back, so they have an empty line to cut into and make their connections. I think that turns out to something like 26,000 gallons.
Hmm.
So pull that back
Oh, wow.
and pump it around the plants, store it. And then
Cool.
anytime we go into the decant cycle in our tanks, instead of pumping up the golf course, we'll pump into our empty SPR.
Now, have you ever used the leaching field at the transfer station yet?
Not yet, because of the new leaching field going in, we decided not to, because we would have to test all the wells ahead of time.
Okay,
And then we were waiting on the DEP to come in and approve the upgrade,
right,
which they haven't done yet.
okay,
Yeah, because there's a significant cost, even just turning them on. And if we're not gonna use them at a particular time. We
Okay.
brought that up months ago.
Yeah, just enough
Makes
cost
sense.
savings,
yeah,
you know? And now we've got plenty of capacity and we're not at an emergency situation at this point. So
Yeah.
we just figured we'd let that just sit. If town meeting didn't vote this upgrade, then we would have had to
yeah,
tie into it. But it's an additional cost at this point for all the testing. And we've already gone beyond our budget by a good bit. I think so.
makes sense. Okay,
Oh, and then, I guess the irrigation, we met on site about the irrigation problem, but we can wait for Brian to come and discuss that. So other than that, yeah, I think we're ready for them to do their tie-in, and they're expecting that sometime after the 4th of July, so it's only 2 or 3 weeks away, potential.
I have a question, just a very general question. Gallon Road, we paved, curb to curb.
I saw that.
Are we financially responsible with the water department for that project?
I haven't heard anything about us contributing to that at all.
Yeah, because I know that we were kind of both in and at the same time, and there was
Right.
money left over to do all that, and then, but is the money still there apparently, as I guess.
I
I
think,
haven't heard it.
I haven't heard anything, and I honestly think that it was discussed at that time. We worked it all out with Paul Bass.
Yes.
I don't remember the specifics, but I think when our project was over, we were good.
Yep.
As far as money wise and satisfying what he wanted,
So they took the KBTA grant money to do all that.
I believe they did that because originally we were looking for that money
Yeah.
because we were gonna be doing the curb to curb, but then through the conversations, we didn't get possession of that money, so that was available for them.
Okay.
So,
I just don't want to sneak it up on us.
Yeah.
Budget. So.
I'll have to check some meeting minutes, because I remember we resolved all of that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember something that we set it aside, but maybe didn't use it because they got funding in another
Right,
avenue, so, yeah.
and then, yeah, let me find out.
I haven't driven down it. That road needed it.
Oh, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't really seen this hand. I was gonna drive up and I forgot when I was going around.
so, one little side note, the sign for Royson Drive, right where, Marion Drive Pump Station is, when Methuen came through, they took that down and it got damaged, so they're looking at replacing it for us. So
Oh,
if you
good.
hear anything through the grapevine, it's in the works.
Good.
Maybe just shut these on.
We can probably decommission the lift gate and truck and escape. That just so, have the selectmen voted on that yet?
I believe they have.
Okay,
Yeah, I know they did for the lift gate, and I'm almost positive maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, they did the escape. It was
okay,
on their agenda.
okay. How's, the plant expansion going? Couple of items left.
Yeah, there's really been very little movement on it, so when I met with Tom Casey on, what was it, last Tuesday? A week ago Tuesday, I asked him, I'd put some phone on it.
Yeah.
There was an email that went out, and Joe said he's gonna follow up on that last change order. We voted on somewhere, I think it was 13,000 or something like that. They're looking to reduce that, so he's waiting for a response from the
Okay,
subcontractors.
Okay, because it'd be good to close that out and see if there's any funds left over.
Yeah, I can ask Tom to give him something, to see what's left at this point, because he's really only gonna do that change order. And
Okay,
I would think that would max out at 30,000.
okay,
I'll get confirmation from him on that, so he can give us even a general sense.
right, because, the loan doesn't get refinanced because we've spent less. So we just need to find something within the project or this project to see what we, if, depending, what's left, to see what it can be utilized for.
We borrow, can we take what's left over and use it to pay down something else? Or within the confines of the treatment plant or?
We might be able to get some equipment or something that's associated to it,
Okay,
but as far as the
something
debt itself-
outside the realm, no. It has to be
Right.
within that scope. Okay,
Right.
I got you.
So what would happen if you didn't find anything or need? That can't just go back and do general fund to.
No, because it was given to us for a specific purpose, so we can work with.
You're not so all alone this week.
But
You're not so all alone this week. You're here by yourself.
that wasn't Enfield, huh?
So traffic was bad, huh?
Getting worse and worse. 139,
Come from Pembroke down, yeah.
it's like being on the Southeast Expressway, and there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it, there's no accident, there's nothing. But
We're, just to catch you up to date, we did the commitments. We're holding the meeting minutes till the next meeting. And Dave, we talked about decommissioning the lift gate and the escape. So that's all we've done. And
it's
so,
literally the new one that download the portals and stuff.
No, this is just an older truck that was
Oh,
decommissioned
okay.
like 5 years ago, and it's been sitting out back ever since. And it really should go to auction and get off the property,
Yeah.
so just a housekeeping thing that needs to be dealt with. And the Escape was a vehicle that they kind of used here at the townhouse, multiple departments
Yeah, I
shared
think we
it.
talked about this before.
But it was starting to become a safety issue and needed some work, and the expense of doing the work on it. There became another vehicle in town that was a newer, in better shape. So everyone's using that, and there's really no reason to keep it around, maintain it, insure it, and everything else. So
okay, and number 3, staff salary. We're still going back and forth on trying to get, Dave additional monies retro. And the conversation has been that wage and personnel voted the change in his step and grade as of July 1st, 2024. But we can still request in his 2023 grade and step.
We only took over.
Yeah. So we can try to do something at that.
We bump them up in the union.
Right,
side, percent.
right.
yeah, as the one started a year
Yeah.
ago, man.
And the money was allocated. We have money allocated at town meeting for the salaries. So it's a matter of, do we want to have a conversation with, ask Keith to come to our next meeting, talk about it? Do we want to put an article on town meeting floor for the fall town meeting and just request it that way?
What kind of difference is there? Just,
Is wage and personnel transfer?
Money-wise,
yeah.
Yeah, they don't do retro.
it
Yeah,
depends on
we
what,
find out after the fact.
step they would send me in, because right now I've gone from step 3 to a step 5. So I would assume putting me as step 4. I think dollar wise, it might be a difference of 10,000 or something.
I guess that would be just for us to have this is here's what you should be, here's what you think you should be. And then if that's not gonna happen, go backwards. We bump you up retroactively under the union. How close can we get to where you should be? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And do it,
Okay, do that for the next meeting.
it's,
We'll-
instead of,
So what would be the?
Just so you have a dollar.
yeah,
Town meeting.
I'm trying to make you whole, but, depend, it's only $1,000 to go back to town meeting and I don't know, just, it gives us the information to know. If
Right.
it's 10,000, that's a big number. If it's $500, it's not, we can do something else with this.
I mean, as a board, we've already agreed on.
We've been saying it all along.
We're,
Retro, we put it in our documentation, everything, so
this is what we want.
it's just the mechanism now on how to,
Gotcha. Okay.
get it to happen.
Make it happen.
Of course, with interest.
So that's that one,
Not without taxes.
No, sorry.
So-
Another bracket.
Yeah, you're right even with taxes. That's the other question.
so we have the irrigation bill. It looks, Dave, you wanna speak for that?
Yeah, we met on site, last Tuesday, walked the site with the, people in Lakes Way. I guess they had a service contract to come in and repair the system. They provided us a bill, you see it's $485. It was broken due to us putting the fence in that area to mark out construction zones, so I feel like we do have some responsibility where CNC drove the stake through. They didn't have any map to go by to know that the irrigation was there, so it's really no fault of their own. So I guess it's just a matter of whether the board wants to approve compensating the people at Link's Way for the damages to their irrigation system.
And I've had the gas company come in and run a gas line, they cut right through it. Ran the gas line, backfilled it, took the kid out the other day, the next day, and just plugged it back up and buried it. It just, that's all you do. So I mean, is this reasonable enough to say that, yeah, that's all we gotta do?
Yeah,
And either we cover it, or we split it with the contractor, or what do you want to do?
I think for this amount of money, we just,
It seems
Pay it,
reasonable.
yeah.
And the contractor would fight it because it wasn't marked out.
No,
right.
So it would end up falling back on the
my only thing,
wastewater.
But
department.
people don't understand what an easement is.
Right.
An easement is something, yes, you can plant grass, but you can't put a shed on it. You can't plant trees, because we have to get back in there someday.
I'm-
We're gonna tear it up.
I'm starting to wonder that when the easement was turned over to us, the irrigation system may have already been in there.
How many years we're talking back?
No, I would disagree.
Okay.
Because that was there when I left in 2023.
Okay.
The condos
Right
only
before
2
you,
years old.
Yeah,
it was there. I just want to add, everything you said is correct. But you particularly me, I know, and I think Dave, went out, and I tried to get at those, talk to them. I
Right.
talked to the woman 3 times, you talked to them 4 or 5 times, you talked to them, I don't know if you talked to them, we all talked to them, where's the other, tell us what the thing is, we didn't just drop the ball.
right,
Sure.
One thing, there's 3 easements there, all in the same spot. They know where the gas is, they marked it up, they know where the electric is, they know where it is, they know where the water is, and they know where the sewer, there's 4 easements right through that same corridor. So if there was any big problem, they would have hit the gas line, but they knew where the gas line was, it was only 5 feet away.
really?
Yeah, and the gas is a shell. Right,
Yes.
Because they knew, and because we tried, this happened, so I agree, we pay this one time. We then went back to them and said, they talked with the septic system, we said. CC said they would go check the Board of Health, because those records should be, within 20 years, they should be on file for the septic system. And if it's in the way, it's on our property, it shouldn't be there anyways, so this is a one-time thing, I think you're right, because we're all done with it. And anything happens again, we did everything we possibly do, except dig it up ourselves.
Right. Right. And they had no indication that anybody knows where anything is. Because we're gonna be digging in there, right?
Other
Oh,
than, yeah.
And that's what the other thing they did, is that they laid out where the pipe is actually, the connection's actually closer to the street than I had thought at the time, but they figured all that out.
Yeah, they seem to think that there's just one zone that heads into that space that they would be doing the excavations, and they talked about just basically cut and cap it at that point. And I think they're gonna coordinate with this irrigation company. With
Okay.
the road to dig. So there's
Right.
been some discussion
Oh,
about,
okay,
excuse me, coordinating that. And
okay, good, okay. So,
I'll make a motion that we pay this invoice.
One second.
all in favor?
Right. It can come out of contract, we have the money there, so it's not like out of our budget, so it's set up. If this is, I said, that is $1,000. If this is the limit of our problems, we are so good. It's not funny.
Well, with that, I'll turn it over so you
The
can,
last job I was on, a big job, I had to spend 3 years. This is the truth, 3 years, because of my project management being as good as it was at the time, not to put that myself. We had $29 million suits, $29 million total suits, 17 suits from our butter. And because we did everything right, we won them all. So I'm coming into everything I do, like, you're gonna get sued. So get ready. And don't do everything you can to avoid it. And so far, we're half done.
yeah, I can't believe that. So update us and share all the good news that, It's been
And
happening.
even after we talked last week, I kept saying there's something, I went into the meeting thinking we had close to $180,000 credit, and then I'm looking at it, we're actually not. They casually look at the numbers. So here we have, and I got this I think you got it too?
yeah,
So it's like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever.
yeah, that's the email
This
that
is confirmed
it
with,
should be in your
this
packet.
is confirmed with, DC. And not confirmed, from KCCC, that the result of the 3 change orders, of which the credits are given to us, and the net result is $151,555.55 credit to our account.
Excellent.
Okay. And that's verified. So, we can, just to summarize from the last meeting. So what this says, well, we had curb to curb for about 1,000 feet, which from the very get-go, well, CC and myself and Levy, why were we doing this when the whole rest of the subdivision is a disaster?
Yeah,
And so we happen to have a couple of neighbors come with good reasons to come before us. We looked into it. This is the result. What's going to end up with, and I sent you all a picture, I think. Okay, this is what it'll look like. You're going to have a beautiful one half of the road,
yeah,
all the way from the corner to our site, into our site. And the other side will be, is like as bad as it was the day we started, but they'll seal the cracks and make it as good as possible to minimize any kind of infiltration of water and heaving, but that would destroy it. And whenever the owner gets around to doing it right, he'll have on our side a brand new base, and there you go. And he'll probably have to mill the entire part of his road and put all new base down, but that's not our problem. So this is the result of that.
and this is without removing any trees or
Not
anything
one,
from the
except for
embankment.
the few trees at the intersection with the existing forest main that's already cleared, tree clearing is done. And it's really, to see the leaves up and to hear the noise of the train sometimes when, I've been up there 100 times, but a few times in the middle of the day, the train's just idling. And they're noisy.
Especially if the wind is blowing that.
Yeah, the wind's blowing that way.
Yeah,
So it's,
that's all great news.
so it's good news. So we need to make a motion, they told me, so I'll make a motion that we accept the change orders as submitted this afternoon and corrected by an email from Tom Casey as of 3:31 this afternoon to me and all of us, that we make this adjustment and accept it with a credit of $151,555.55.
And just a friendly, it says, Tom Casey says, we recommend that the PCOs 1, 2, and 3B be approved. So that would be the total
I
that
think
you
that
said.
amendment, yeah.
I will too. I did second.
So it's seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So, in one of our preliminary meetings, when there was a group of residents in Zoom, we had mentioned we were gonna do curb to curb. So do you think we should just send out another, notification that listening to everybody, we're not gonna cut any trees down, but to fit it
That was a
into,
good idea.
yeah, okay, so
With
put
an
something.
update. I did make a call to Mrs. Howie last week saying that we were going to preliminarily discuss this and depending on but it looks like it was a go. So she's telling her friends and neighbors,
Okay, good.
but I think that would be a perfect follow-up. Yeah.
I mean, in reality, when we first would look at it, we thought it was a finished road. And you never had the second coat put on it.
Right, right.
Not our obligation. And the residents may like it a little bit better because it's not gonna get speedway.
Yeah.
Like it's already is.
Yeah.
Speedway out, not in.
Speed me out.
Yeah, we put a cop on the left, right around the corner.
Yeah, coming out,
Yes,
Coming out.
collect some revenue.
quarter mile.
So that's, and like, you want to get it, explain how it's half done and how we're getting there?
Well, the good news again, and just as an addition of what's in the scope, besides the steel cracking, that's 13,000 extra. They're going to do the work in the trench. That starts for we're gonna have another meeting. We set up, and Dave will be there, and anyone's invited, but we'll be there to every 2 weeks for an update, performance today, where they're going. Then I can update Gene with our webpage. We'll have in the next meeting Tuesday. So that there is the cost embedded in here is do the trench, backfill it properly, compact it properly, but then put a temporary patch on it. Let it set for several months, let traffic get on it like they should do.
Yeah,
They could even go to all through the winter, which is a good idea, but if they want to come back, because they're gonna be done. I mean, they
yeah,
can come back, that was my recommendation, to come back in the spring when the plants open up. Let it settle, all the puddles that happen, do a nice paving job, it's done. On a nice sunny, warm day, like you should do it, and, but it looked like the pictures.
Yeah.
You take to any street, I mean, I live on School Street, half the streets up there had gas lines put in within the last couple of years. They had shallow trenches, they put the 4-inch plastic pipe in, Winter Street's one, I mean, they're all over the place. And they went into this exactly the same thing. They did a temporary patch, let it sit for a year, came back in, did a half, full width, half width, pavement, curb to curb, and it's a brand new. So, it couldn't be any better.
and they've got half of the leaching fields already.
Yeah, and, Gene gave, if you haven't heard the good news, the video that we got last week is on the web, and it came out neat.
Yeah.
It
did.
So, yeah, so turn on, and they have the drone from, Infiltrator, the company, this is their biggest project ever. Yeah.
Really?
So I had it on top of the Infiltrator guy, it's like, I expect these out along a lot of places, they use for septic systems, quite a bit too. But he was as proud as anything, so then you saw the email about doing a marketing thing for them. So, see what happens with that.
They gotta love that they could just do everything right on the site. You know what I mean?
So on the
They're
site,
stocking and storing, they're not dragging it, and then they just need bring back what they want, and
having that, I'm telling you, having that 4 acres is like,
You see no trucks really coming
Nothing.
and going other than
Other than
supply
you
and
drop supplies off.
infiltrators and stone.
yeah.
They're not
I
shipping
talked to the
stuff
guy.
back.
He said, this is like the best thing that ever happened, because nobody bothers us, it's all inside in blocks, they leave, they go home, they come back.
They're all up on site.
And they're keeping up with the dust control. They have the water truck there. I was up there one day, and after you do a lot of this fine silt that's in the natural soil, it's like whenever have you ever plowed concrete and you're screeding and make a nice smooth floor? The very fine particles, you screed it to get all this solid stone to go down, and the fine stuff comes up, and you have this thin, milky layer of cement liquid that you scrape off. Well, this is the same kind of thing when you drive over this stuff. The silt comes up to the surface, and you end up with this powder. It's like talcum powder, but it blows everywhere.
Oh,
And if you don't keep it wet, it dries out in minutes. But if you don't keep it wet, it's all over the place. Fortunately, the wind this time of year is out of the southwest, so it's blowing towards the MBTA.
Yeah, down to the valley, yeah.
But they're going to complain.
A little payback for the soot.
But I lived through that for 4 years. That's the side I talked about. That was the big thing. So you couldn't be any. Things are going great, and I have an update for Gene before I leave.
and estimated completion time?
As of last Tuesday, they're going to start this force main around the Monday after the 4th of July. 4th of July, I think a Wednesday. They're going to go through that long weekend. So typically, a contract that they have a 4th of July, they'll give everybody a 4th of July, 5th, 6th, give them a long weekend, and they come back in whatever the first Monday is, and like gangbusters. That's what's going to happen. They're going to start the trenching. They say that's 3 to 4 weeks at the most. They have additional costs in here for trenching, test bits, it's already in their budget. Do 4 or 5 test bits just to make sure the interferences from the new part of the road. If there's any, they can see them and anticipate them, because these pipes, if it wasn't for the sewer line, I mean, the strain lines and stuff, they could actually build the pipe. I was talking, I've done this several times. Put the pipe together so that 2,000-foot length, and you have a bunch of guys that go roll it in. The whole thing's all done, and then you just bury it. But you have, strains going across. you
Yeah.
have Other things in the way, so you have to do it underneath. So they have to go
Oh.
underneath all these. They
Okay,
have to be 6 feet because there's water in this, and their water lines, but most of the water's out of the way too. But there shouldn't be any water lines, but they may have put a stub, thinking the house might go back there back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that there were other structures there earlier, so, a lot of, you may
Fire
put a lot of
hydrant
stuff,
laterals.
yeah, just a stub in case they do put a house. But
Yeah.
now we own it, so there'll be a house there.
yeah.
Well, maybe-
All over,
So-
it's just foundation.
Well, I'll tell you that abutting lot to Country Club Way, it was always in the back of my head that if this never happened, at least we'd have a buildable lot to sell.
Sure, I'm just thinking, very much thinking like, just thinking, we could put a couple of houses there, small, great, affordable houses in Suffolk. Capes, not these McMansions. They wouldn't fit in a mansion, but, that's an idea.
Yeah.
The taxpayers, our revenue payers will love that. Which there are two in the room.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's.
No, that's all great news. Thanks, Brian. You've saved this project millions of dollars. And I'm thankful for that as a
Yes.
sewer customer.
No.
Never mind.
And I'm glad that the costs of certain things have come down, labor and materials, the plastic, especially because it's all plastic.
We changed a bunch because we allowed them to not use ductile iron and use, that saved at least 30%.
Oh,
So that's a lot when you're talking
On
about
that, but that piece of pipe, it's a lot of money.
It's a great product,
It is.
and it sounds like
Pay for it.
the company is a good company to work with, the construction company.
They're so far,
no complaints.
very, 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 very professional. They're good planning people. They have thought through everything. They know, they know.
I emailed you and Joe the document you didn't sign.
Oh, okay.
I just emailed it to you, so Joe, and you should have it.
Okay, great. Thanks,
Just wanna make
Pete.
sure you-
So, they're very professional, and then they came back with a change order. There's a little bit of a rush, that's why I think there was some confusion in the numbers, but everything they've done is professional, everything they've done has the project in mind. They know what they're doing. I'm relying on Lamar as the CM on site to make sure the construction actually, pipes are put together right and all that. It's not what we're doing, but, it's all, they understand the expediting piece of it. If we're not pumping water by August 1st into those fields, I'll be amazed.
Really?
I really will be amazed.
Yeah, so
Well,
one.
We gotta get DEP to sign
Well,
off.
that's the one thing we're gonna have to start, looking at, getting DEP to, one, approve the plan, and two, approve sending stuff to the Legion field,
You may be ready for it.
which will require us to probably test the wells prior, which the wells haven't called yet, but I think we're talking the next couple of weeks,
I mean, monitoring wells for the field.
monitoring wells going in.
I don't know why he needs any approval. We got a permit to do it already. There should be no approval. This is all testing. We're not into turnover yet for the DEP to approve it. This is all testing, so we should be able to put water up there, test it, make sure everything works. Without their approval. But it's a good point. We'll bring that up Tuesday.
Yes.
Sure, we can talk about that. But anything we do right now is under construction permit. It's an actual issued permit. And it's, we're just testing hydraulic. We can run it because we do have the discharge permit. There's no conditions on the permit to say we can't run it. It's an absolute permit.
I've looked at that permit, and there's so much verbiage in there, I'd have to look at it again to just get some
Yeah,
clarity.
take a look at it, but there's nothing to constrain us from going forward. We could start the whole thing up, actually, if we're ready. DEP's gonna wanna come in and see the test results and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the mining well should show groundwater, it's like 45 feet down. It's just a long way. But yeah, that's, I mean, that's definitely something to think about. And last point, this money will, there's a couple things that I'd like to put on the table, but not today. I'm gonna talk to Matt. I've already talked to him on the cover we're gonna put there. I've talked to Wetlands Landscape, we bought the stuff. I do them all the time. So I asked him the question, since we're expediting our start,
Yeah,
does your mix work, the seed mix work, and we put it down in August? And he said, no, it'd be better if you did it late August or in September, because germination of this kind of weather doesn't do it. So what I'm gonna bring up, I've talked to CDM, is that we add in a annual rye and barley mix with the seed mix we're putting in. The seed mix is like a wildflower, typical field. It germinates when it normally seeds, it will germinate around October, November.
Okay.
It sets up itself, but the plants that it came from are still there perennial. Their roots use every year. When you new seed it, they just start to germinate. As soon as you get the real cold weather, they stop. And the erosion potential, even though this is fairly flat, is significant. And it will look like dirt, and it will look like it. So what I asked for, and they agreed, is that we put in the annual rye, which will grow real fast.
Right.
It'll be really nice. It'll be green all the way through to December and maybe January. So when the neighbors look out, they're gonna see this brilliant green field
oh,
of
nice.
barley and annual rye. And then the next spring, that'll all die and all the good stuff will be growing up, and we protected it with all the barley, and it's insulated, it's not exposed to the wind. And boom, wildflowers next spring.
And it'll be a
it's rye
legitimate
mix.
meadow
It'll
field.
be legitimate metal. It'll look really nice and we won't have any problems. So I'm gonna talk to Matt. Tell him we're gonna amend that. This will be an extra. So it'll come out of what we just said.
Yeah.
From a, what does it look like in the fall? We're done. Look, I mean, a million deer out there in the grass, but, you know, and those turtles will come, start walking back in. And there'll be turtles in there. This will be like turtle heaven to nest. It's an open field, sandy. I love it.
Oh.
So that's
It's
what
not
we're.
our adopted turtle cover.
Did you hear about did you hear about the, just the last 2 weeks ago, maybe? The, box turtle. What's it called? Daystart, not Daystart. Headstock. Headstock, it was the 40th anniversary.
Okay.
It was on the news all over the place. I mean, if you didn't hear it, but. So what, that John Crane who brought the dog in, he ran that for 20 years. So he went out in all the places that the turtles are, in private land. We get the female turtles, watch them lay their eggs where they normally would. We'd go and get all the eggs out, put them in these little special traps he made, so they would grow, hatch. They're like this big. They would take all those, bring them home to these pens he has, and they bring them to schools and universities. So they would grow all winter. So a turtle this big would would come out next spring. It'd be still that size. It's like what Durham's, the herons, and all the.
Oh, okay,
So what they would do is grow them over the winter, and then they're this big.
okay.
So then they're not as edible, and they would then go with all these ponds that didn't have these endangered turtles, put them in the ponds, and there you go. They're all, so there's hundreds of ponds now around southeastern Mass that didn't have any of these endangered species. They're this big when they're adults. Turtles,
Wow.
they're huge.
Wow.
So that's John. So,
Very good.
okay.
Well, anything else we need to discuss?
What do you want to do about, the first meeting of the month? You want to push it to the next week?
Yeah, but that's
So
fine.
the 4th is on a Thursday. So anybody got plans? Anybody going away? Are people coming to town? It's one of the biggest vacations. after the first
I'm
two
taking
weeks.
the day before and the day after off.
Well, I mean, we can shoot for, we'd have like the 2/16, we can do the 16th if you want, and if anything comes up between then, we'll
fine.
call a meeting.
I
So
just
next
don't know
will
if
be 16.
Yeah,
people have lives, you know, I mean, not
Yeah.
me, but if somebody's gotta go away, you know, relatives.
yeah, because that way we'll just rather than having it the week after, we'll just have it at the next scheduled
That's
meeting.
perfectly fine with me.
All right, so.
And if anything comes up, Elaine,
Yeah,
you have, jurisdiction to just call a meeting.
Yeah, okay, so the next meeting is the 16th. We got it.
yeah, if anything comes up, we just call it. Okay. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.